Hello there. Boris Johnson is on the slide and Rishi Sunak is on the up, despite talk that he's dropping the state pension triple lock in favour of a double only lock. As per usual, please like, subscribe and comment below. And when subscribing, please press the little bell, but also select the all option, or you won't get any notifications. So the Tory party members have got a bit of a downer on their leader, have they? Boris has already seen support for his party crumble amongst Tory voters in their blue wall heartlands. But to see himself sliding so fast in popularity amongst his own party membership is not what Boris would be looking for. And the potential leadership candidate snapping at his heels is the Chancellor, Rishi Sunak. Now, normally when the national debt is rocketing up and stark economic choices have to be made, the Chancellor is the killjoy, the one bringing the bad news, raising taxes, a penny on a pint, 2 on petrol and 5 on tobacco, and pulling money out of government departments and stealth taxes left and right. You know the sort of thing that loses elections. But at the moment, the reverse is generally the case. He's been the one borrowing and spending on all that furlough money and giving money to people to eat out. There are subsequently a lot of very happy bunnies out there who have spent over a year lounging on the sofa and only venturing outside to visit the supermarket where all the low-paid key workers have been hard at it keeping the food aisles open for them. Then there's those lucky enough to be able to draw a full wage while working from home. Same goes for them. And these people have probably been able to put some of their money aside through not spending on commuting and not buying all those brand name sandwiches, rolls and coffees. Yes, I know there'll have been losers, but maybe there aren't as many Conservative Party members within the groups of those that got left behind, like many of the self-employed, and maybe the directors of very small limited companies who relied not on wages but on their own share dividends. And one wonders how many Tory members actually rely wholly on the state pension to fund their retirements. Because it's being reported that Rishi might really be about to amend the state pension triple lock into a double only lock. This is something I've talked about before. The triple lock is there to ensure the state pension rises by the rate of inflation, by the rate that wages rise, or by 2.5%, whichever is the highest. And with average wages having gone up by about 8% over the last year, the Treasury would have to fork out £7 to £8 billion more to state pensioners under the triple lock rules. And Rishi is not happy with this. So he's looking to limit the rise to about 2.5 to 3% by removing the average pay rise element. And I'm not too sure that those who rely on their state pension to eat and heat themselves will be very enamoured with this. Especially if those pay rises quickly filter through to higher prices in the shops. Now, in the financial year 2019 to 2020, the Exchequer collected £145 billion in national insurance contributions. That was 17.5% of all receipts, and it contributed 6.5% of our national income and was equivalent to £5,100 per household. And one assumes if wages go up by 8%, then maybe national insurance contributions rise by about 8% as well. And if that's the case, you come out with a figure of about 11.6 billion quid extra for the Treasury, which is far more than the 7 to 8 billion that the Chancellor is actually looking for. OK, I did that calculation on the back of a cigarette packet, and it's probably more complicated than that, but you do get the idea. But Rishi, the pension Scrooge, wants that money. Now, one other point to remember is that Rishi is also hiking up corporation tax, and many of those affected could well be Tory members. For companies with less than £50,000 profits, they will still pay 19%. But from there on, your tax rate rises proportionately until you hit £250,000 in profits, when you get hit with 25% corporation tax. But Rishi seems to be Teflon at the moment, and it seems that the PM Boris Johnson is taking all the blame. Boris is not very good at taking the credit while passing the buck, and that's two traits that Nicola Sturgeon, for example, has really mastered. No, Boris is his own fool guy. Now, before I continue, I just want to say a massive thank you to all my Patreon and PayPal supporters, as well as those that buy a mug with my mug on it, link in the descriptions box below. You really do help me keep this channel going. Now on to how satisfied Tory members are with Boris. Conservative Home conducted 2 surveys. The first one, among party members, was to rate the members of the Tory cabinet. And the clear winner in the satisfaction ratings is that industrious Secretary of State for International Trade, Liz Truss, on 88.6, followed by the Chancellor Rishi Sunak on 74.1. Then Dominic Raab, the Foreign Secretary, on 71.3, and in fourth, Lord David Frost, our post-Brexit negotiator, on 68.9. But where's Boris? Well, you have to go right near the bottom to find him. He's wallowing fourth from the gutter on just 3.4. Even the Tory leader in Scotland, Douglas Ross, and the Welsh Tory leader, Andrew Davies, scored considerably more than their leader did. And I'm quite surprised that Priti Patel managed to get 26. And remember, this is not a general public satisfaction survey. This is a survey of Tory party members in July. And languishing right at the bottom of the satisfaction stakes with a huge negative score of -44.1 is the Education Secretary, Gavin Williamson. He's limpet-like though, isn't he? Wonder what it'll take to shift him. Now we come on to the post-Boris leadership ratings. The second Conservative Home survey asked the question, who should be leader after Boris? And here, the top 2 places were reversed, with Rishi Sunak coming out on top with 31.07% and Liz Truss in second on 12.08%, with the only other potential in double figures being Penny Mordaunt on 10.79%. So it looks like Sunak is the clear favourite by a hefty margin here. But will that last when the economic pigeons come home to roost? Will he still be the Golden Chancellor once the furlough scheme is fully wound up and thousands, tens of thousands, and potentially hundreds of thousands of people lose their jobs? Will he survive the possible shedding of jobs further down the line as companies start tightening belts to pay the increased corporation taxes? And we might get inflation on the back of these wage rises, with the Bank of England possibly looking at raising interest rates. But the one big thing in Rishi's favour is that the average Tory member and voter is more likely to be able to afford to go on holiday abroad. And while Boris is seen to be the one tinkering with those traffic lights for countries, he will be the one that takes all the flack. One would think that the traffic lights would go red, amber and green, but it seems to more resemble a painter's palette, especially the amber category. In fact, sometimes it seems that there are more variants to the amber lists than there are COVID variants. And if Boris was told by his scientists to lock the country down again for a new variant in the run-up to Christmas... So, what's your opinion on Boris, Rishi and Liz? Please like and comment below.